Hey, this is Peter with Pool and Spa Depot. So now the cover is placed on your swimming pool. We're going to talk about the return jets. Now, of course, this is just a mock-up right here of what your two return jets might look like. They might look like this, they might look like this. This is obviously the inside of your pool here. These eyeballs have rings that you tighten up and allow you to change the direction of flow throughout the summer. Come wintertime, we want to take these out, like so. And there's three pieces that have to come out. There's this male piece that holds the eyeball, the retainer ring, and the eyeball itself. I'm going to take all three of those pieces out, and actually I like to just screw those back together because now there's only one part for me to keep up with through the wintertime. Now there's two ways to plug your returns, and we like to leave the water in the pool full. One, so you don't waste the chemicals and waste the water, and it helps the cover during the winter months. So there are two types of plugs for your return. One is a threaded cap like this with an O-ring seal that you simply pop in to the return like so, and you tighten it up as tight as you can by hand, and then you can either take a screwdriver and slide it down inside this groove and just give it an eighth of a turn at the most, just to snug it up. So that's one of your plug options. The other plug option that people often use are the expandable rubber plugs. Over time you might have wear and tear, or you might have trouble getting the fittings out. This is a great option. You can just simply slide that rubber plug into the face of the return, take this wing nut attachment, this expands the plug. These are used in plumbing applications, not just in swimming pools. And now we have completely blocked this return. So now in the spring, when we go to open the swimming pool, we're just simply going to undo this wing nut and remove the plug. Now, if you have a light on your pool, I've actually gone ahead and winterized this, but this is kind of the front end of your light on the inside of your pool. And what you're going to basically do is pull the faceplate of the light off, unthread the cable, and install this number 10 plug by pushing it into the hole and once again just tightening that wing nut. That will provide you with that same winterization. So typically you're going to either have two returns like this, or one return and a light like so. So once you've got your returns nice and secure so that you don't have to lose all the water, now we've got to take care of the skimmer. Now this is your typical above ground swimming pool skimmer. Same thing would apply with an in-ground skimmer. We remove the basket first of all, and then we have a freeze gizmo like this that has an expandable plug on one end. This is a neat tool because you don't have to worry about reaching down inside that cold water to thread and plug off your skimmer and then have to reach down in there in the spring and undo it. So basically we're going to just take the rubber plunger and just give it a little bit of a push into the hole at the bottom of the skimmer, and then we're going to turn it, and we might get 3 or 4 revolutions until that's expanded nice and tight in the throat of the skimmer, ensuring that no water can pass through the bottom of the skimmer. At this point, your water in the pool is completely self-contained and unable to leave the pool. We've blocked your skimmer with the gizmo using the compensator model, which has the freeze plug attached, and we have the returns blocked off with either the threaded cap or the expander plugs. Now I'm going to give you a tip that a lot of people come visit us in the spring because they've forgotten where they put their return eyeballs and various other different bits and pieces. So I'm going to show you a little hidey hole that most pool and spa professionals use. so that when you come to the spring and you're like, what did I do? Where was that safe place I wasn't going to forget? I'm going to show you right over here on the pump, and then we're going to walk through how to winterize the filtration side of your swimming pool. Okay, now we've successfully winterized the inside of your pool using the plugs on the returns and the compensator gizmo in the skimmer. We're going to come over here and show you how to winterize your pump and your filter system. So come springtime, if we have a hard winter, you're not going to have any expensive damage to your pool equipment. So we're going to start with the pump down here, and I mentioned that hidey hole that every pool professional uses, and I'm going to show you where that is right now. On the front of this little pump where your leaf basket is where we recommend putting all your leftover return eyeballs, O-rings, and any other small bits and pieces that connect to the swimming pool, including these freeze plugs. Now there are 2 freeze plugs on our pump. Some pumps only have 1, but we have 2, one on the actual impeller side of the pump and one on the strainer side of the pump right here. We're going to take these off. This is going to drain all the water out of the system and ensure that no moisture gets inside. I'm going to put these plugs right inside like that. I'm going to put this lid back on to keep everything safe and sound. There we go. Now on the front of this pump you might have a union connected to the pump, which can be spun off if you wish. It's not necessary because you've plugged the water off at the pool side, but some people like to disconnect the plumbing just in case, so no water can leak through from the pump through the plug into the pump on your equipment pad. Now some people feel more comfortable bringing this pump inside, putting it into a garage or a storage or a spare bedroom or something like that. If you choose to do that, there are 2 bolts on the back of the motor mount that can just simply be taken out at this point. You remove the union here, you'll remove the union coming off the top of the pump and bring this and store it inside somewhere safe. So now we have successfully winterized the pump on your filter system. The other item that we need to do is to remove the drain plug on the bottom of your filter tank. This will allow all of the water to leave the filter system. However, it's going to airlock until we move the handle on the top of this to the winterize position. So we are going to just turn this handle until we reach the winterization position. That does 2 things. First of all, it allows the water to escape, and it removes the gasket, which we call the spider gasket, and pulls the pressure off the plunger assembly, protecting your valve. These valves are not cheap, and so we want to protect them and not give them undue pressure on the plunger assembly during the winter time. Now remember, I've got this plug in my hand. The secret hidey hole that everybody uses on a swimming pool is right here in front of this pump, and there we have it. And your filter system is now winterized, your pump is now winterized, the water from the pool to the equipment is now winterized successfully, so that next spring, when you remove your cover, you have a full body of water. There's not a lot of expensive water going back in the pool. The chemicals will not be diluted, and if you properly close your pool with a winterization kit, which we'll show you here in a moment, then you should have crystal clear water. And I'm going to give you a couple of other tips along with the chemical kit here momentarily. Okay, this is a 4x4 air pillow. The purpose of this pillow is to go underneath your pool cover, centered up in the middle of the pool, and it allows the water to moat around it on your pool cover. This allows the water and any leaves or vegetation. If you don't have a dry coat cover saver, this is another less expensive alternative, and that is a pillow in the center, forcing the water to be basically mowed around it, and then a cover pump to be installed into the cover to remove the water from the top of the cover. So if you decide to cover your pool using the traditional methods with an air pillow and a cover, creating a moat around the pillow for the water to bring it closer to the edge of the pool is the general idea here, then you have to have some way to get the water off the cover, right? And there's a couple of ways you can do that. Of course, you could scoop it out with a big bucket, which is kind of painstaking and cumbersome and messy. We have a siphonic pump, just like siphoning gas out of a gas tank. You can prime and siphon the water off of the cover. Of course, the downside to that is when your water has gone, you break siphon and it needs to be restarted. And then we have two pump options that are for your cover. One is just a straight plug in as needed and remove the water, and it will run, and it operates down to about 1/2 inch of water and just hooks up to a regular garden hose and an extension cord. It has a 25-foot cord on the pump, so it allows the cable to come in and connect right where the pump on your pump and filter is. So there's no electrical, no complicated extension cords, because this is going to be powered off of the same power supply as your pool pump. And then more recently, the pump has been upgraded to an auto on and off. So this has a float that enables the pump to only run when the water level reaches a certain point on the pump. And so it will run, and then of course as it rains and fills back up, it will keep your cover from getting too much water. And too much water on the cover can be problematic because the water displaces things. So if we allow too much water on the top of the cover, the weight of that water will push the water underneath the cover up and out. So a lot of times we'll get a phone call in the spring, hey, my pool has sprung a leak over the winter time. And in actual fact, the pool has probably not sprung a leak as much as we've removed the water off the cover. And in doing so, we've displaced the water under the cover. So when you remove the water off the cover and then you take the cover off, the water level might be lower. This method ensures that from happening, or of course the Dryco cover system guarantees that will never happen as the water exits the top of the cover through a drain pipe. So that is a great investment, helps add life to your cover and protects your swimming pool from getting too much water on the cover and makes cleanup in the spring a lot easier. This is called a Pillow Pal, and this is a little Velcro sticky patch that you can place right on the pillow that also attaches to the center of your cover. So when you go to actually put the cover on your pool, this can be pre-attached underneath the cover, and that holds it in place. Come spring, you can just simply peel off the Velcro sticker that holds that in place. So that's the other alternative if you're not going to have a drain cover. Now there's a couple of things that we recommend when winterizing the swimming pool. If you have leaves, vegetation, and green algae in your pool when you close it, they'll be there when you open it. And there is no magic pill, there is no magic secret to cleaning up a swimming pool without some elbow grease and manual labor. So what I want to do is just show you one of the easiest ways to take care of that. Now this is a tool that actually one of our employees invented. It's called a brush and grab. It's a deep leaf net that holds a lot of leaves, a lot of trash, and attaches to your pole in the same way as any other vacuum pole attachment, and allows you to literally brush the bottom of the pool. And as you brush the bottom of the pool, by now everybody who has a pool has experienced this, the dirt, because it is weightless in water, jumps over the top of this brush. And when that happens with this device, it gets collected. So this is literally like an underwater vacuum that is done manually. You move the brush along the bottom, the dirt jumps over and into the net, and you can scoop out large amounts of leaves. And certainly this is going to hold a lot of vegetation. So please make sure your pool is clean, free of algae, and no organic matter in there that's going to sit through the wintertime. It's just going to make your cleanup in the spring harder. If you follow our direction in the wintertime, you can almost guarantee you that when you come open your pool in the spring and take the cover off, the water will be crystal clear underneath. And there's a couple of other tips I'm going to give you to ensure that. So this is the time of year that a lot of people ask us about winter kits. Are your winter kits in stock? And to answer that question, yes, they are. We have a couple of different kits catered to your pool and the chemicals that you use throughout the year. And what I always try to impress upon my customers is this is not a be-all end-all for water chemistry. So what we like to recommend, first of all, let's get that pool clean. Let's get it brushed, vacuumed, and get that water clean. The next thing we want to do is make sure before we close your pool, before we even introduce the winter kit, that we have the pool properly chlorinated and balanced. We want to make sure the pH is balanced. We want to make sure the alkalinity is balanced. We want to make sure the calcium is balanced, because the water is going to be unattended for many months. And we want to ensure no damage gets done to your pool, and that the chemicals that we're about to put in your pool stand the greatest chance of doing their job during those dormant months when your pool is covered. So we want to make sure the week leading up to closing your pool, if let's say today is Monday and we're going to close the pool next Saturday or next Sunday, this week we want to focus on getting the leaves out, getting that pool clean, putting some chlorine in the pool to ensure that it's all sanitized and preparing it ready for winterization. The day before we close the pool is when we will empty the contents of our winter kits into the pool. Now the winter kit has got various different products inside it to protect the water in the pool, from algicides to clarifiers, stain and scale remover, and OxyShock, which is a non-chlorine shock. So these are a great addition and a great insurance policy to keep that water crystal clear throughout the winter months. But there is no chlorine in a typical winter kit, so we recommend treating the pool with some chlorine and getting your water balanced so that when your winter kit goes in, you can really forget about the pool for 6 months. So all of these things are going to help and ensure that come springtime, and you know, a lot of people in the wintertime just put the cover on it, we'll deal with it in the spring, and we work with our customers in cleaning up a lot of big messes that are just really unnecessary. So a couple of hours of prevention this time of year can save days and days and lots of money and heartache in the spring when the kids are ready to go jump in and start swimming and we're cleaning up a swamp mess that's just not necessary if we take some preventive measures in the winter. So hopefully these tips are going to be helpful to you, and if you have any questions that were not answered on this video, please feel free to call us at 615-315-8000 7 days a week, and we'll have qualified staff that are able to help you with any of your winterization needs.